The Robin Hood of Vermont, the capture of Fort Ticonderoga. Welcome, esteemed historians and enthusiasts of the Revolutionary War. Today we delve into a pivotal, yet often understated event in American history, the audacious capture of Fort Ticonderoga by Ethan Allen and the Green Mountain Boys. The outbreak of hostilities at Lexington and Concord on April 19, 1775, marked the commencement of the American Revolutionary War. These skirmishes ignited the colonial quest for independence. However, the strategic landscape quickly shifted towards controlling key positions. The next significant military engagement was a calculated strike, the capture of Fort Ticonderoga. Ethan Allen, often hailed as the Robin Hood of Vermont, emerges as a central figure in this narrative. His leadership and audacity orchestrated a feat that would bolster the colonial cause and disrupt British strategies in the Northern Theater. The strategic importance of Fort Ticonderoga. In military doctrine, especially during the 18th century, seizing and controlling strategic points, such as elevated terrains and crucial waterways, was paramount. The Hudson River corridor through Lake George and Lake Champlain constituted the most vital inland waterway system in North America. This axis allowed for the movement of troops, supplies, and communication between Canada and New York City. The British High Command realized that controlling this corridor could sever New England from the other colonies, debilitating unified colonial resistance. Such a maneuver would isolate the rebellion to the northeastern provinces. Background on Ethan Allen. Born on January 21, 1738, in Litchfield, Connecticut, Ethan Allen was the eldest of 8 children. By the age of 29, he relocated to the New Hampshire grants, embroiled in land disputes between New Hampshire and New York, what we now recognize as Vermont. In response to contested land claims, Allen organized a militia known as the Green Mountain Boys in 1770. His charisma and decisiveness galvanized local support, mirroring the actions of Robin Hood, challenging corrupt authorities and defending the rights of the common people. The Green Mountain Boys. The Green Mountain Boys were not a conventional military unit, but a band of settlers committed to protecting their land rights. Numbering around several hundred at their peak, they were adept woodsmen, marksmen, and guerrilla fighters. Their intimate knowledge of Vermont terrain gave them a tactical advantage. Their primary mission was to repel New York settlers and officials who attempted to enforce land claims. The militia's loyalty to Ethan Allen was unshakable, a critical factor in their success. Plans to capture Fort Ticonderoga. In early 1775, the Connecticut Committee of Correspondence recognized the necessity of preemptive action against British forces. They identified Fort Ticonderoga as a strategic target due to its arsenal and position. Ethan Allen was selected to lead the expedition due to his tactical acumen and the proficiency of the Green Mountain Boys. Simultaneously, Massachusetts commissioned Benedict Arnold for the same mission. Unbeknownst to Allen, the conflict with Benedict Arnold. Benedict Arnold, an ambitious officer, received a commission from the Massachusetts Committee of Safety. Learning of Allen's expedition, Arnold hurried to assert his authority based on his commission. A dispute ensued near Castleton, Vermont, where the two forces converged. Arnold cited his official orders, but the Green Mountain Boys refused to serve under anyone else. Arnold, recognizing the futility, agreed to accompany the force as a volunteer. The march to Fort Ticonderoga. The combined force of approximately 83 Green Mountain Boys and a few volunteers advanced towards Lake Champlain. The journey was arduous, traversing dense forests and treacherous paths. Haste was imperative, to strike before reinforcements arrived or surprise was lost. Upon reaching the lake shore opposite Fort Ticonderoga on the night of May 9, 1775, they faced a shortage of boats. Time was of the essence. The surprise attack. With only a fraction of his men able to cross, Allen faced a critical decision. Dawn approached, and waiting would forfeit surprise. He declared, "We must act now. Those willing to face peril with me, advance." All present were resolute. Under the veil of darkness, they crossed the lake, reaching the fort's shore in the early pre-dawn hours. The capture of Fort Ticonderoga. Approaching the fort silently, the Americans encountered a sentry whose musket misfired, a twist of fate. The sentry retreated, with Allen and his men in swift pursuit. Ascending the fort's inner stairs, Allen confronted Lieutenant Colonel William Delaplace. He demanded the fort's surrender, to which Delaplace queried, "By whose authority do you act?" Allen's iconic response was, "In the name of the great Jehovah and the Continental Congress." The surrender and spoils. Recognizing the untenable position, Delaplace capitulated. The fort was secured without loss of life, testament to the operation's precision. The Americans seized over 100 cannons, including artillery, mortars, and howitzers, with significant ammunition and supplies. These assets were invaluable, given the scarcity of heavy ordnance. Impact on the Revolutionary War. The captured artillery, under Colonel Henry Knox's efforts, was transported over 300 miles to Boston during the winter of 1775 to 1776. This, known as the Noble Train of Artillery, was instrumental in the siege of Boston, leading to British evacuation in March 1776. The fort's capture invigorated the colonial cause and demonstrated British vulnerability. Strategically, it disrupted plans to control the Hudson Lake Champlain corridor. Ethan Allen's later contributions. Ethan Allen continued in northern campaigns. In September 1775, an ill-fated attempt to capture Montreal led to his capture. He endured harsh imprisonment until his exchange in 1778. Upon release, Allen returned to Vermont, advocating for statehood. Though sometimes controversial, his efforts led Vermont to join the Union in 1791. Legacy of Ethan Allen and the Green Mountain Boys. Ethan Allen remains a seminal figure in American folklore. His frontier spirit and defense of individual rights resonate through generations. The Green Mountain Boys set a precedent for militia effectiveness. Monuments like the Ethan Allen Homestead and a statue in Washington, D.C. commemorate his legacy. The Vermont flag and militia units continue to honor the heritage. The capture of Fort Ticonderoga exemplifies bold leadership, strategic foresight, and the element of surprise. Ethan Allen's actions underscore the impact that determined individuals can have on history. This event highlights the complexities of colonial cooperation and military strategy. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of a critical juncture in America's fight for independence. If you found this analysis insightful, please consider subscribing for more historical content. Share your perspectives or questions in the comments below. Your engagement enriches the discourse. Stay curious, and until next time, keep exploring the past to inform our future.